We exist inside the universe. It's true. Some people want to conclude that this universe is all that exists, and they conclude that from inside the universe. Now, isn't that typical of someone who exists inside the universe? Science can only be used for things inside the natural universe. However, if something exists outside the natural universe, by definition, doing testing and repeating and observing things inside the universe is never going to be able to confirm or disprove what exists outside the universe, unless, of course, something from outside the universe presents itself to us.
Any theory that does not provide a method to falsify and validate its claims is a useless theory. For example, if someone said a watermelon is blue on the inside but turns red when you cut it open, how could you prove them wrong? How could they prove they're right? You couldn't, and they can't. There is no available method to confirm or disprove what they said about the watermelon. Therefore, we can dismiss the theory of the blue interior of watermelons as pure speculation and guesswork, not science.
So, some people thought I was attacking the scientific method. This frustrates me, because I wasn't attacking the scientific method, I was exposing its limitations. Now, let's use that argument against a bunch of other things. Hitting golf balls into holes has never produced a television, a PlayStation 3, or a cure for anything. Therefore, we shouldn't play golf. Or hey, music, people playing music, well, that's never produced a PlayStation or a television or anything like that, so we can throw that out as well. And hey, eating food, that's never really produced a television, or breathing air has never produced a PlayStation, so we should really throw those things out too. You see, this is an awfully thick book to talk about something that you say doesn't exist. I mean, pretty thick. I mean, the writing is small. I mean,
See, this is an awfully big book for something that doesn't happen. I mean, look at the writing. It's pretty tiny. I mean, it's quite thick. I mean, awfully big for something that doesn't happen.
now we can use the scientific method to say, well, gee, there must be a designer for all the design we see in the universe. But the scientific method is never going to be able to demonstrate the existence of God, because if it could, well, God would have to exist inside the universe to do that. But you see, God created the universe, so by definition, he exists outside of it. Kind of obvious, isn't it? It's true. You know, atheism is really a worldview based on the lack of experience. So atheism is essentially ignorance. It is from the lack of experience, because you could never have an experience that would validate atheism. You see, someone who, like me, who believes in God, we say we've experienced God, and that's why we believe in him. There's millions of people, millions upon millions of people who believe in God and have experienced God, like me. And just because you're ignorant of God, as the Bible says, you're willfully ignorant, which means you're ignorant on purpose. You see, people reject God and do not want to retain God in their thinking, because that would mean they're accountable to God. Because that means he created the world, and that means he owns it, which means he has the right to judge it, which also means he has the right to tell us what to do. Even though naturalism refutes itself, which we pointed out in the first video, totally, some people say, show me evidence of God. And, that's what I've been doing on YouTube for 2 years. But the truth is, if you don't want there to be a God, and I show you evidence, the truth is you're not even going to know what to do with it. If I showed you evidence of God right now, would you know what to do with it? I don't think you would. Let's say you do. Let's say you do. We'll be generous and say you know half of everything. Is it possible that God exists in the half that you don't know? You certainly have to be open to that idea because you just don't know. Now, if that is true, okay, and if God exists in the half you don't know, then you better not come on YouTube or any medium proclaiming that there is no God or discouraging people from knowing God based on your lack of experience.